Hi everybody, this is Amy Conn. I'm here at Public Coffee Roasters with Mosaic Coffee. Nope, not with Mosaic Coffee, with Mosaic Yoga. Just seeing if you were paying attention. We are participating in Yoga Wednesday Challenge. Today is part 2 of that. I'll be reviewing part of part 1 and then adding on to part 2. So it's exciting times here. All right, so let's just begin by taking a comfortable seat. Some props that you may need are, I have a rolled up yoga mat that I'm sitting upon. You may want that. If you have a strap, that may help us in cool down. And then I would also like you to have a wall space available. So you may want to move your mat or get it to a place where you can use a wall. All right. Okay, I think we're ready to begin. All right, by taking a comfortable seat, for me that means that I have one leg in front of the other, that I'm rooting down through my sits bones, and that I am having a tall back. My shoulders are back, down, and around my spine, that my chest is up, that my head is balanced on my shoulders. And then lastly, I like to take a soft gaze or close my eyes altogether. And this helps me to turn my drishti or my inner focus inside my body. So your drishti can always be something that you focus on, that an object that doesn't move outside of your body, but it can also be a focal point that you take on the inside of your body. And a good one is your breath. So finding your breath, listening to your breath. So taking those distracting thoughts and just set them aside. They're going to be there later. And now is the time that I just want you to listen to your inhalation and then listen to your exhalation. And if you are heated or overly heated, you can take that breath in through your mouth. You could even purse your lips like you're sucking a straw. That is a cooling breath. It could dry out your lips and tongue, but you can remedy that with some water. Cooling breath. Cooling breath in. Exhale, out. Inhale. Exhale. And then just now taking the breath that you're choosing as you relax your mind, elongate your spine, exhale through your sits bones, inhale through the crown of your head. Taking 3 more rounds of breath, just finding your place here and now. Even and equal breath in duration, elongation. A powerful breath can be one of ease. And consistency. After your 3rd round of breath, gently open your eyes and let's begin some movement with our breath, inhaling our arms and hands up, exhaling hands down into your heart space. And then just this motion, moving your body with your breath and your breath with your body, helps us kind of connect our mind and body together. Our breath is that conduit between our mind and our body. It's that thing that links the two together. Taking your right hand to the side, inhaling up, and over. And then flowing just side to side, up and over. And just like a wave of motion, just connecting and moving your body with your breath and moving your breath with your body. One more side angle breath work. Great. Good. Taking your prop, if you are sitting upon one, and removing it, I'd like you to come to this seated position where your fingertips are faced out and your shoulders are back and around you on your back and your heart is forward. This is a seated cat-cow, so we are like as if this is cow, and then grabbing your knees, and this is cat. Tucking your chin in towards your chest. Cow and cat. Breathing with the movement. It feels so good on the back and the chest. Great. And then moving over to the side, we're going to do a spinal twist. We're just warming up our torso, just twisting it and breathing into it. Taking your right foot over, crossing it, and then having your left foot under. And instead of just being on one butt cheek like this, I want you to see if you could square off your bottom and then plant that big toe, this top foot leg that's on top, plant that big toe down into the mat, taking both hands, hugging that knee in towards your chest. Great. Breathing, using breath. And then I want you to open to the unconstricted side. So opening up to the left, tall back. The twist begins at the belly button. And it exits out through the crown of the head. Inhaling up, exhaling twist. And then crossing your body. So opposite elbow to knee, crossing the body. This is more constricted. Inhaling up, exhale, twist. Beginning again at the belly button. Inhaling up, exhaling, twist. So this is not a neck twist. This is a torso twist. If you are looking over your shoulder and twisting your neck, then I need you to relax your head and have your chin maybe even just come down towards your chest. Inhaling up, exhaling, twist. One more time to either side. Open side, inhaling up, exhaling, twist. Inhaling up, exhaling, twist. Switching. Breathing in, twisting. Breathing in, twist. Great. And then switching sides. If you are gay, you could do this fancy thing where you leave your legs where they are, stand up, turn around, and then magically the other leg is on top. Isn't that amazing? All right, can you tell I teach children? I still find entertainment in it. Okay, top leg, big toe, good. Hug those knees in. Crown of the head goes up. Exhale, release. And when I say release, that doesn't mean collapse. I never want you to go to a collapse. I want you to keep long, tall, with energy. When we practice with energy, then it just grows. It builds. And everybody right now, these days, we all need a little bit more energy. Opening to the unconstricted side to your right, inhaling up, exhaling twist, inhaling up, exhaling twist. Now the constricted side, opposite elbow to knee. Inhaling up, drawing the belly in, twist. Inhaling up, twist. One more round. I like to hold on the left hand to my left ankle. That seems to be something I can grab onto as I begin this twist. As we warm up our torso, it also allows us, it's like anything that gets warm up, it just becomes more pliable. So that is what I'm wanting us to do, to not just go into a challenging pose, but rather easing into it, allowing our body the opportunity to warm up so it can move with ease. And then coming out of the pose. So the next pose that we're going to be doing is a fire log pose. So there are a couple of options, because fire log can be tricky. You could use your prop to help you, taking your left foot and putting it on top of your right knee. And then your left knee is over your right ankle. So I like to take my hands besides my hips and I kind of rock them. I find my perfect seated position, and then I come into this. So if this is not even possible, if your knees are up very high, then what I'd like you to do is put the soles of your feet together. If your soles of your feet are together, then that allows you to still have an opening in your hips, but without any kind of pain. We never want to practice pain. There's no purpose in practicing pain, but I like you to practice maybe sensation, breathe into that, practice releasing that emotional release that's occurring in your body, and then maybe come out of it and then resume. All right, finding your pose. You can use the prop if you need to. I would like you to flex your feet and not have a sickled foot, but rather flexing the foot. And that will help have an even stretch on both sides of your legs. Good. Good. If you are able to come forward, I did have a student this morning, who practiced with me at 9:15. He just can flop forward. And so with him, we were working on not his flexibility so much, but his muscular endurance. We want an even balance between flexible elasticity and this muscular endurance. We want to make sure that we are always working both sides. Okay, so if you are able to come forward, you can bring your hands here and reach forward through the crown of your head, coming forward into your forward bend fire log pose. If you are wanting more sensation and that you're still not receiving enough, then you could practice going forward with your hands and then perhaps walking to one side, over your right foot, and then over your left. Taking time on each side, breathing fully and deeply into each side. If you are not in fire log and you are in cobbler's pose with the soles of your feet together, then you can come forward this way, walking over to one side, hurry. Okay. And then the other side. And you could practice going back and forth, breathing into either side. And breathing most specifically into your back body. Inhaling up. If you've been in fire log this whole time, let's switch outside so the other leg is on top. And again, you want to inner spiral your thigh, so taking the innermost part of your inner thigh and then rolling it out. Or you could lift yourself up and then place yourself down. When you roll your inner thigh out, it helps create an energy where you are able to align your muscles in your bones and your hip sockets better, so you're able to come forward. Breathing into the back body. Perhaps taking it to one side. And then the other side. And then inhaling up. All right, taking that comfortable seat again, I'm going to use my prop once more to sit upon. And we are going to be opening up our side body with breath. So we're going to be expanding our rib cage using our breath. So I'd like you to creep out your right hand to one side. You could come down all the way to the forearm if you'd like, or taking your palm down and pushing the palm into the mat, which creates this arc where you're pushing down with the hand, creates a circular motion here. The energy is coming down, up, and around. So it's pushing down with the hand, coming into the body, coming out through the crown of the head. Good. Your other arm, your left arm, is reaching with energy up, up, up towards the ceiling and then to the other side of the wall. Good. Nothing is like laying in space. This hand is pushing into the mat, creating that circular motion into the body, up and over. Good. Breathing into the side body, spreading the ribs, breathing into the muscles in between each rib. You could even relax your head, creating that opening between the earlobe and the shoulder. Now we're really going to create opening between that earlobe and shoulder by taking your hand, keeping your head where it's at. So your left hand is now reaching in the opposite direction of the crown of your head. You're reaching like you're trying to grab onto something. And the crown of the head and the fingertips of your left hand are extending and pulling apart. They're reaching in opposite directions. And you're breathing into that space. Perhaps bring your right ear closer to your right shoulder. Opening up that space between your left ear and your left shoulder. Great. Having that left arm pull you up, the right hand to the side of your head, supporting your head up. That was great. Okay, let's do it on the other side. Left hand down, pushing away from the mat. When you push away, that creates this energy, brings in, here it's like a loop. Inhaling, up and over. So when you push away from the mat, you're not collapsing down into it. You're pushing with the palm of that left hand away. Pushing down into the mat, pushing away. Breathing into the side body, drawing your belly in, opening up and breathing, putting breath into the ribs, in between the ribs. intercostal muscles. Extending that right arm up, active fingers, reaching to the right side of the room, reaching, reaching, reaching. Now the crown of the head and the fingertips are going in opposite directions, creating space in between that right earlobe and that right shoulder, breathing into that space, exhaling any tension that you are feeling. Breathing in, blowing out. Great job. Having those right fingertips pull, pull, pull you into a seated position. Left hand comes to the left side of the face, inhaling up. Good. That was awesome. Okay, so putting your prop, moving it aside, coming to all fours. In all fours, I'd like you to do a traditional cat-cow, but then we can elongate it on either end. I want you to listen to your body in this while we do this pose. So as we inhale and exhale into our traditional cat-cow movements, perhaps your body's saying, but I want a little bit more. So perhaps you move your hands out more in front of you and you are able to come forward more and then exhale into this cat and maybe come down into a child's pose. And you're just taking this elongated, exaggerated cat-cow. Breathing. Inhaling. Exhaling. Good. Now you may want to take it a little bit farther, so you're circling, maybe in clockwise motion, or a figure eight, creating this twisted figure eight motion, just opening up your body, lubricating your joints, and then reversing that figure eight or that counterclockwise motion. Listen to your body. Breathe into your body. Just warming it up. Good. All right. We're going to slowly come into our downward facing dog. So if you are able to move into downward facing dog, that would be fabulous. We're about to approach the part where we're going to be moving to the walls. So just know that that's coming up. There's a couple more openings I want us to do with our shoulders. But right now, let's roll into downward facing dog, rolling over your toes, cycling your heels down. We're just kind of warming up our hamstrings. Good. Drawing in with the belly. Bending the knees perhaps, sticking the bum up towards the sky, having your heart and chest come through your elbows, forearms, biceps. Good. Coming down to hands and knees once again. All right, another shoulder opener that I'd like us to take before we go any further is called shoulder pigeon. So coming to your left side of your mat, come down to your belly, and then walk your right hand over. Like you keep walking it as you open up towards your left side. Your right hand is walking away from you, and your left foot can come down towards the sole of the left foot can come down towards the ground. So your right hand can do several things. It can brace you right here in front of you. It can come to your hip. If you're super flexible, you can reach back towards that other shoulder or the other palm. This is a pose, the shoulder pigeon pose, is something that I want you to take your time in. I really want you to breathe into this pose. This is not a pose I want you to rush into. This is not a pose that I want you to come in and pop out. I want you to stay in this pose for a little bit longer and breathe into it, opening, breathing. Right now, your body is gaining some trust with your movements and your breath. So you're still breathing into this pose, still creating space. As you put oxygen into the openings that you are creating, I want you to blow out any tension or any stress that you're feeling that could be trapped inside. Breath is that conduit, that connection between your mind and your body. So as your movements bring up and stir up emotion, let's just blow it out. Blow it out. There you go. Coming out of the pose, and then I want you to move over now to the opposite side or your right side of your yoga mat. Walking your left hand over away from you as you open up. My right foot is now, the sole of my foot is on the earth, and my right knee is going up towards the ceiling. I'm directing my breath into any tension or tightness that I'm feeling in my body, into my shoulder joints, into my chest, into my heart space, and then I'm releasing it. A good example of that you may be holding in tension is that your exhalation is brief, abbreviated. If that is the case, then I really just want you to sit and breathe. I want your exhalation to be as long as your inhalation. A sign of true release of tension and anxiety is demonstrated in your exhalation. One more round of breath. Great. Coming out of the pose. Good. All right. Let's just take a dolphin really quick. We're going to be doing something that looks like dolphin on the wall, but right now let's take dolphin on the mat, and that maybe connects some more dots as we amp up these poses. So taking your hands and forearms, you may want to clasp them at the top, or you may want to have them parallel in a letter number 11, and pushing down with your forearms coming up on your toes into this dolphin pose. In dolphin, you can bend your knees and tilt your bum up towards the sky, and your heart comes through your biceps. Your head is off of the ground, it's not touching the ground. You're drawing in with the lower abdomen in your breathing. Great. Okay. All right. I think we're ready to move to the wall. So I'm going to move my mat so it is perpendicular to the wall space. Oops, there's my little tinglings. So now I have the narrow edge of my mat against the wall. And what I'm going to be doing here is, I have my hair in my face. There we go. So I'm going to be taking my feet, it's about 18 inches away from the wall, and my feet are a little bit wider than hip bone distance. I'm going to be taking my hands to the wall space, and at first I may have the elbows at my shoulder height. And they are also about the same width as my feet, okay? Maybe I walk my hands up a little bit more. I'm just trying to bring my chest closer to the wall. And I'm doing this with breath. I'm not necessarily bringing my lips to the wall. I'm not kissing the wall, but I'm wanting to open up this chest space. Great. And then coming away. And then taking my left hand to the wall. And now I'm coming a little bit closer. So my hips are square. My left hand is on the wall. And I'm just going to walk my fingertips back. And I'm not going to be facing the wall as I do so. I want to create an opening in my chest, in my shoulder. So maybe I'm going to take this right hand and keeping my hips square, walking my fingers back. Great. Now I'm going to have way more movement and flexibility with this left shoulder than my right. Things are a little bit tighter. So when I turn around, I'm going to have my back to the camera, but maybe you could see a little bit more movement, or in my case, maybe a little bit less movement. But I just want you to know that I want you to listen to your body as you move that shoulder joint. So 12 to 18 inches away from the wall. Squaring the hips, hands up, walking the fingers back, trying to keep your shoulders and hips square. And then I'm going to stop where I'm feeling sensation, and then I'm going to breathe into that opening. And then release. Shaking it out. Okay, we're going to come back to the dual opening of the chest by returning to this stretch once again, where your heart is coming towards the wall. You can creep your hands up a little bit higher and maybe more in a V. Great. So here's where we are with our challenge. Last week, we worked on inverted poses that were in an L. So we're going to revisit that, but on the forearms, okay? So I'll review last week, and then I'm going to add on for this week's challenge. All right, so coming on to all fours, having your soles of your feet against the wall, pushing against the wall, and then once again, you can choose to have L, and you could measure the L by grabbing onto your biceps and then keeping your elbows stationary, pivoting out. So you could do this, like this, pivot out. Or you can clasp at the top, and then you use the side part of your forearm to balance upon. Okay. Elbows underneath the shoulders, clasping at the top, coming into this narrow dolphin pose. As you come down into your narrow dolphin pose, your toes are on the mat, but my heels are on the wall. Then I'm going to push into the wall, and I can keep my knees bent, if I'd like, as my bum comes up and towards the center of the room. My head is off of the ground. I'm drawing in with my lower abdomen. I'm going to lift my right leg up towards the ceiling, and perhaps I look down into the mat. That might help you. I invite you to do this. I want you to hug in to center line with that right inner thigh. Come down, inhale, left leg up. And then bring that left leg all the way down. You can come down to hands and knees. Coming into hero's pose, just maybe how are your shoulders feeling, assessing. What this can also do is it can also amp up your energy inside. Your nervous system might be a little bit shaky. If you're feeling that way, then please just come down to all fours. I want you to stay safe. I'm inviting you to take this challenge, but the bottom line is I want you to be safe. So if you're feeling like you just want to do this on all fours and maybe do a three-legged all four like a three-legged, just to find your balance. It's perfectly okay. Okay, so we're going to do this again by practicing in using and coordinating our breath with movement. Soles of the feet against the wall, measuring out my arms. I like to clasp. Coming into this narrow dog or dolphin. You can have your knees bent, pushing against the wall. My bum goes in towards the center of the room, inhaling my right leg up towards the ceiling. I'm twisting in or hugging in with my inner thigh. The sole of my foot is reaching up towards the ceiling and flexing my feet. Coming into the other side. And then coming all the way down. Great. How you doing? Breathing as you expand and extend. Exhale as you contract and fold in. All right, if you're ready for the next one, we're going to now face the wall. You don't have to do this, but if you'd like to try it, I'd like you to see if you can. But you are also welcome to just repeat what we just did. If you want to take on a little bit more of a challenge, then we're going to have our back towards this wall. Now, I myself never know how these are going to go. I know I've done it many, many times throughout my life, but I also have to listen to my body. Every day is different with me. So I'm going to do the best I can in coming into this pose. All right, and I'm going to try to be graceful, but who knows? All right, so I'm going to measure myself. I'm going to be maybe 12 inches away from the wall. Coming into my pose, narrowing my dog. And here's the trick for me. I'm going to have my foundational leg be the bouncy leg. It's the springboard. I'm going to have this, my right leg, for me it's my right leg, the one that's going to come to the wall first is going to be straight. I'm not going to donkey kick. I'm going to have my right leg straight. And the reason why I want to do this is I want to put all my energy into the foundational leg, which is going to propel me up towards the wall. I don't want the donkey kick because all that does is it divides my energy. It has one leg going one way and the other leg going the other way. And then I'm finding myself in the middle somewhere flailing to get to the wall. So I'm going to try to attempt this flailing-less. Here we go. Springboard to the wall. Now you could look down on the mat. You could bend one knee against the wall and reach up towards the ceiling with the other. Switching out. See if you can come to balance. Perhaps you can find some balance. And then come all the way down. And then I suggest staying low, like in a child's pose or a hero's pose. But maybe since you've just put your heart over your head and your hips over your heart, you may become a little lightheaded, so be mindful of that. All right, let's repeat the process, doing it again, but on the other leg. Now that other leg may be your cattywampus leg or your scattywampus or whatever you want to call it. I am right-legged. I like to have my right leg reach up, so having me switch out legs, it's not so comfortable, but I'm going to try it too. Little bit awkward. Reaching up with the flexed foot. Head off of the ground. Switching out legs. Maybe finding balance. Your platform is your forearms, which can be a long platform. So your footing is this whole space. That's a pretty big foot. So if your footing is on the ground, that's a big, broad band to be able to balance on. So if you're feeling a little bit nervous, know that your platform, your foundation is pretty broad. Okay, try it again on either side. And then we'll meet in child's pose. If you need to take a drink of water, now is a good time. Trying this pose on either side is, repeating that is helping to build the muscle memory. Child's pose. Wide kneed child's pose. Inhaling up into hero's pose, and then onto one side, and then meet me on your back. All right, taking your right knee in towards your heart and extending your left leg. So much about our inversions, this ability to go upside down, not only does it help with our emotions, I always call it, it's that frown upside down, creating that, just taking whatever sadness you may have and flipping it. Sometimes we physically need to do it. It always helps, just reverses the energy. But it also requires core strength. So we're going to be doing just a little bit of core strength as we end our session today. So as you hug that right knee in towards your chest and extend your left leg long, just feel the length of this pose, the muscles elongating, and then switch out, hug your left knee in towards your chest and your right leg long. And then come back to closer to the original pose. But I want you to have your left foot extended and hovering, your whole leg hovering above the ground. So it's parallel. This right leg is 90 degrees. So your back is going to want to arch away from the mat, and I don't want it to do that. So I want you to hug your belly button in as you press down with your lower back into the ground. Taking your hands, pushing against that thigh, and that thigh pushes back. When it does that, when it pushes back, it's going to activate your core pretty significantly. It's going to strengthen it. So I want you to push into the thigh, thigh pushes back, draw your belly button down, pushing down into the lower back, into the mat, extending long with this left heel. Pushing down, extending long. Push, push, draw down, extend long. Push, push, draw down, extend long. And then hug both knees in. That was good. If you're holding your breath, no, no, no. I want you to breathe in, breathe out. Extend your right leg long, 90 degrees with your left. Taking your hands, pushing into the quad. Quad pushes back, draw down with your belly button. Extend long through that right heel. Push, push, draw down, extend long. Push, push, draw down, extend long. One more round. Push, push, draw down, extend long. Hug both knees in. So you should feel that. That should feel pretty good. Now, I'd like you to take your yoga mat or your rolled up mat or your block, and we're going to come into this supported bridge, or if you can take bridge without it being supported, I want you to open up and breathe into your core space. Okay, so you could take your block or your yoga mat and just put it above your sacrum, under your sacrum, and then you could breathe into your belly. This is a supported bridge. Or if you want to take bridge without the use of a prop, taking active fingers, pressing down with your triceps, pushing down with your big toes, lifting your hips, back palate of your head presses down, chin up, breathing into your belly. Blowing out, breathing in, blowing out, breathing in, blowing out. Coming all the way down. That was great. Taking your left leg up, and we're just going to come into a figure four. So your left ankle is just right around your knee, of your right knee space, this figure four. This can be your pose right here. If you're feeling like you're getting enough of an opening here in your left hip flexor, fabulous. If you want to take it a little bit farther, then go ahead and bring that heel, bring that ankle closer to your body. Now I'd like you to try keeping both feet flexed and keeping this left knee away, or this left inner thigh away. If you want to take this even farther, you can grab the belly of that right quad, and this elbow pushes that left inner thigh away. If you want to take this even farther, you can extend long with your right leg. You could grab a hold of the right foot. And switching sides. Nice work. Now, each side can be different. We are not symmetrical beings. So one side of my body, as my kicking body when I was kicking into the wall, one side is stronger, or I'm more coordinated with than the other side. The same goes with flexibility. So this may be my pose or your pose. You may want to bring it in closer, clasping your hands to the belly of the left quad, pushing your right elbow against the right inner thigh to keep an opening, flexing both feet. Extending long, maybe that's your pose. Grabbing onto the foot. And then coming down. Taking your feet wide as your yoga mat, and just windshield wiping. I don't know if this is called anything else, but I like to call it windshield wiping pose, where your knees are just vacillating side to side. Swiping, swiping. All right. Taking your right knee in, elongating your left. Now your left leg can go down to the ground. See if you can extend it up. This is where you may want to use a strap. So you may want to take a strap, and it could be an elastiband, or it can be a belt. Taking it onto the sole of your foot and holding onto either side. If you have the flexibility, you may want to grab on to the foot. Opening that foot to the right side. Right foot to the right side. If your flexibility is not there and you don't have a belt, then just bend your knee. You're just still opening up that hip area. That's fine. I like to keep my left hand on my left, my hip bone here, pelvic bone, just to remind it to stay grounded. Breathing into the front body, calming your nervous system down, finding and regrouping your breath so we can return to that grounded breath that we began this session with. Inhaling up. Go ahead and bend that right knee. I like to shift my hip over to the right side of the mat as I come over and cross. So now my right knee is crossed over my body. My right shoulder is still pressing down into the mat. I'm gazing over my right shoulder towards the wall. I'm breathing 5 breaths into this spinal twist. After the 5th breath, straighten out your body, and we'll begin again on the other side. Inhale, bringing that left knee in towards your body. If you have a strap, you could strap the sole of your foot on and hold on to that leg with the strap. If you have the flexibility, you can grab onto the leg and open it up to the right side, left side. I'm taking my right hand to the bony part of my pelvic, and I'm asking it to stay square, to stay close to the ground, to not roll open. I like to have this energetic leg, this leg that's on the ground, that's straight, the right leg. I like to reach with it through the heels. So both of my heels are reaching. They're just perpendicular to each other. Inhale up. Pivot, if you'd like, your hips to the left side of the mat. Right knee, left knee bent, crossing over the body. Left shoulder onto the mat, looking over your left shoulder. Breathing into your twisted spinal twist. 5 breaths. After your 5th breath, hug your knees in towards your chest, rocking side to side or back and forth, preparing yourself for Shavasana. If you find that there is still something I haven't done that you would like to take, please, now is the opportunity for you to come into your final, right before your final resting pose, right before Shavasana, come into a pose that you want to come into. Maybe it's another twist. Maybe it's a headstand. When you are ready for Shavasana, you can come onto your back, lay down onto your back, taking shooting star, or I think shooting star is a good name for it right now. I just saw a comet the other day. It's fabulous. Lay heavy onto your mat. Have your mat support you and lift you up. If you are not wanting to lay down in Shavasana, you can come into a seated meditation. Taking a comfortable seat, whether it's in a chair or on the ground or on a prop, you can still root down and ground through your sits bones. Even breathing. Feeling the pressure points against the earth. Using your breath as that conduit, that connecting link between your mind and your body. Let your next exhalation be deeper than the last one. Slowly roll over to one side of your body and feel the shift of weight and pressure against the earth in that new position. Pressing down into the ground and coming into a comfortable cross-legged seated position. Inhaling your arms up and over. Exhale down into the heart space. 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Pressing your thumbs into your heart, broadening your chest. Thank you again for practicing with me today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week. Namaste.